do The Hobbit.
No. Let's get literature. Episode Dose. Season 5. Yeah. Okay. Is it me? Yeah. So.
Can you see me now?
Can you see me now?
Hello?
This story is a coming of age. Coming of age? Not coming of age. Is a rebirth kind of story. It is a coming of age kind of story. It's about a boy named Jerry. Did I say the title?
Nope.
So much stuff is wrong. Me and Jess did Through the Tunnel for our 11th book page, and it's written by Doris Lessing. Now, this story is about a young boy named Jerry who goes to a vacation, or he either moves to the beach. I think it's a vacation with his newly widowed mom. After the first couple days, Jerry meets a group of native boys, and he tries to go swimming with them. But what they don't accept. There's so many A words to use. They don't accept them into their little friend group, so they dive underwater, and Jerry starts freaking out because they never come back up. But then he looks over, and they're all the way down the beach. So he dives underwater to see, like, how did they do this, what happened, and he finds a tunnel under, like, a little canal underwater that he tries to get inside of, but he can't make it to the end, and he almost drowns. So through the rest of this story, he's trying to strengthen his body, strengthen his lungs during the time that he's on vacation, so he can finally swim through the canal and be like the other boys, be able to be like the other boys. But enough of this summary. So I want to talk about this story being a very, very coming of age story. I like to compare the canal to a womb. I completely mixed that up. I'm gonna redo that. Boop. Okay. So through this story, Jerry is really attached to his mom. He's always asking her. He's like, "Can I go swim here? Can I go swim there? Can I go do this? Can I go do that?" Like, he always has to ask for her permission to do things. But as he's strengthening himself as a person, he's breaking up away from his mom. Like, she will be like, "I'm gonna go walk on the beach, Jerry. Are you going to come with me?" He's like, "No, I'm going to go off and do what I want," which then what he wants to do is he's pretty much drowning himself every single day to try to strengthen himself for the swim that he wants to do. So he's breaking away from his mom to become a stronger, better man, and by the end he's able to swim through the canal and pretty much comes out of the water, reborn, a new man. He's a stronger man, he's a better man. And he already has this change in himself where he wants to be, I don't want to put a whole gendered thing on it, but he wants to be grown. He doesn't, like, when every day that he would swim, he would constantly get a nosebleed and he would cry because he couldn't do it, and he didn't care who saw him. If the native boy saw him cry and bleed, or if his mom saw him cry and bleed, he was okay with it. But after he swam through this tunnel and came out, he would not allow his mother to see him cry or bleed ever again. He wanted to be this grown-up who could take care of himself and not have others worry about him and whatnot. And to me, just throughout stories, the sea has always been, or the ocean or the sea, however you want to, water, has been used as like an awakening kind of thing, like a rebirth symbol. So it's definitely him breaking away from, I guess if you want to put a bunch of symbols on it, the blood can be like afterbirth, and and he was attached to his mom by an umbilical cord. Okay, but after going through this tunnel, is the womb, he came out, the blood's on him, but he detached from this cord and he's detached from his mom for the remainder of, I guess, his future life. I don't know. So I guess I'll let you hop into this.
Yeah, I think the story, I hadn't read it before this point, and I think it's really interesting because Bo was talking about the portion where he was asking his mom questions like, "Can I do this? Can I go swim? Can I whatever?" I think a lot of us, everybody does it. We ask others for permission to do things and to live. I think when we're asking others permission to do, anything, whether it's, "Can I borrow your pencil?" or, "Hey, do you want to go do this after class?" Or I think the more we ask permission, the less we're giving to ourselves. And what
Yes, if you could borrow my pencil.
Okay. Anyway, but so yeah, I think he's clearly asking permission to live his own life in that portion before he actually makes it through the tunnel. I just thought that was really interesting. I think that really speaks to his adolescent side of him. That, I mean, at the end of the story, he's still an adolescent. He's still a child. I hate that terminology. He's probably 17 or 18. He's muscular, he's strong, but he asked permission before he made it through the tunnel, and after he doesn't anymore. And I think, just like Bo described, the birthing process. Thank you for that, by the way. That that birthing process. I think people are reborn, and the story touches on it too. People are reborn throughout their entire lives in different major portions of their life. After high school, I felt like a new person. After college, I'm gonna feel like a new person because I'll be making my own money. I'll be doing my own things. I'll make my own decisions. When I get married, it's a new chapter. People call it a new chapter if they get married, but it's just a different part of your life. And I think all these major life events in our life, and for Jerry, it was probably one of the first few major life events was, hey, I made it through this tunnel. I'm reborn. I'm somebody stronger than I used to be, and I think that's really important to notice in the text. And we all put timing and notions on certain parts in our lives that are more important or less important. And I mean, Jerry definitely did that, and we do it every day of our life. So I think that's really interesting. And there's a quote I wanted to read. I wrote it down. And it's the moment when he sees the boys going underwater and all that for the first time. It says, one moment the morning seemed full of chattering boys. The next, the air and the surface of the water were empty. But through the heavy blue, But through the heavy blue, dark shapes could be seen moving and groping. Wow, I think we're 13. Okay. I think this quote stood out to me just because not only the language and the way it's positioned for you to be able to picture it happening, but to compare a morning full of chattering boys to, I guess, the next moment as the air and the surface of the water were empty. I just thought that was so reflective. Like water. I thought that was so reflective, and I think Jerry, even before he goes through his tunnel, is more perceptive than he lets himself be. And, I think I think he's a smart enough kid to know that he doesn't have to go through this stupid tunnel to be the man he wants to be. But like I said earlier, we categorize different portions of our life to be more important or less important. And this was just something that he had to do to prove to himself, in my opinion, that he was worthy, that he was important and needed. And,
Yeah, when they know, you know.
When he knows he's important, he knows.
He knows. But, whenever I get the chance to be a full-fledged teacher, I'm definitely going to teach this to my students, because it's just it's this coming of age, and it's pretty much me, like, break away from your adolescence, you crazy freshman. No. I'm gonna cut that.
No, keep it.
Okay, but no, it's such an eye-opening thing, and I think it might be one of those stories that resonates with my students, because this kid, he is about 13 or 14 years old. Like, he's still like in this young age, and there's so many things to discuss. Like, throughout the story, he has constant nosebleeds and dizziness and headaches, but that's not just from him holding his breath all the time. Like, these things occur when he's in his own, like, hotel room. So a discussion of life and death, like, is Jerry dying? Like, it says his mother is a widow, and it doesn't explain how his dad died. And so there is this symbolism, I don't know if it's symbolism, but this hint, this maybe foreshadowing of what's it called? It's genetic. It's
Genetics,
right? A symbolism of this genetic disease that his father could have had, that now Jerry has at a young age, and it could be killing him. And this could, like, I mean, it might be kind of dark to say this as a teacher, but I mean, like, it'd be something that get through the things in life that you want to do before you die, kind of thing. Like, it's and
Like a bucket list.
Yeah, kind of like a bucket list. Like, don't be afraid to do to overcome obstacles in life, especially like, and it'd be something to teach them morality too. Like you guys, again, this is gonna be dark coming from like a teacher to my students, but it's like you guys are not gonna live forever.
Like, you are not invincible.
Yeah, you need to be put in the place that anything can happen at any time, and you need to overcome the things that are holding you back from doing what you want to do. And I feel like this would be an amazing story to teach, to kind of open their eyes to that. And I mean, that's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah. Let me just add, another thing I noticed when Bo was giving the summary in the beginning was, and while reading the story, I think this story has a lot of feminist undertones. As much as I try not to use that terminology so generally, maybe it's not feminist undertones, but I think it is, where, that double standard of, can men show emotion? Can boys show emotion? And like how throughout the story he doesn't let his mother see him fall apart, essentially, whenever he comes back and is around her or whatever. Like, he hides this emotional, vulnerable part of him, which I think, I mean, when you're a Jerry, when you're as young as he was probably at this point in time, like, he's probably just beginning to deal with those emotions. And I mean, if he is dying, if that is the scenario, which we don't know at the end of the story, it's just like an extra layer on top of it. Like, okay, you're young, you can't show your emotion, but you're also dying, and you're gonna be dead soon. That was very morbid, but yeah.
That's
like,
the word I was looking for. Morbid.
Morbid, yeah.
I'm saying dark.
Morbidity.
Morbidity.
Anyway, but yeah, I think Jerry really is represented. Please zoom on my face. I think he really represents a process that every person takes, where you're vulnerable, but you don't know how to show it. And obviously, the story's called Through the Tunnel, but it's more than a tunnel. The tunnel doesn't even matter. He could be walking through a hallway. I don't know. But yeah, I would teach this.
Hallway.
The hallway of birth.
The hallway of birth.
Or it's like people say when you're about to die, you see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, oh, like whether it's God or whatever you believe in, like the universe calling you up, calling you somewhere. Maybe Jerry is already dead in the story. Maybe he's already in the light of his afterlife, or I don't know. I think the story has a lot of layers that even in just this conversation, I'm getting too excited, that we didn't even touch on. I think, and I don't think it's BSing. I think these are all, there's so many different like theories you can build off of just this simple story, and it's not that long, and students can get through it in a class period and have a really rich discussion. The power of talk.
Power of talk.
Am I right? Yeah. Through the tunnel. I'm through the tunnel.
Is that it?
Yeah.
We're done.
It's over.
Bye. Bye.